Warzone Ranked just released, and you're probably wondering a couple of things. What the hell is Warzone Ranked? How do I get better at it? What weapons do I use? Where do I land? And what are some of the best strategies that are going to make me one of the best players in the world? Well, I'm going to give you all of that. Starting off with the best weapons in Warzone 2 Ranked. Starting off with the TAC-56, got a little bit of a nerf at far ranges, but with these attachments right here, you'll still dominate at long ranges. Starting off with the very first attachment that you need to have is the Harbinger D20 muzzle. This can give you a little bit better range, a little bit better recoil control, and it'll completely silence your weapon. You also need to have the 17.5-inch barrel so that way you can pick off enemies at range and use this gun as a primarily long-range weapon. And you have a 40-round mag, or if you want faster aim-down sights, switch out the 40-round mag for the TV X-Line Pro stock. That way you get a little bit better maneuverability and a little bit faster aim-down sights. You have to have the 5.56 high-velocity ammo. That is kind of a non-negotiable in Warzone because it makes your bullets travel a lot farther and pack a lot more of a punch at distance. And whatever your preferred optic is. Personally, I'm a fan of red dot sights, but you need to pick out what's best for you. Moving on to the best submachine gun that you can use in Warzone 2, it's by far and easily, after the new Season 3 Reloaded update, the Lockman submachine gun. Starting off with the Bruin Pendulum muzzle for better recoil control, the Falcon L38 barrel, a 45-round mag so that way you can have more ammunition for the enemy, the FSS Sharkfin underbarrel grip, that way you can get a little bit better control while you're shooting the gun, and last but not least, you need to have the Lockman TCG-10 rear grip. This is going to be the perfect gun for high maneuverability, high rates of fire, and getting the enemy picked off at close ranges. Something I love to use, I recommend using it in Warzone 2 as well. If you are somebody who values the ability to dump lots of ammo down at the enemy and not have to take your eyes off the target to reload, then the Seiken LMG is the best gun for you. And here are the following attachments that you need to use. First off, you need to start off with the ZLR Talon 5 muzzle. It's going to give you a little bit better recoil control, and it's going to make the gun work a lot better. You need the 20-inch Bruin Silver Series barrel. It's going to give you the maximum range potential out of the gun that you need. For optic, I personally am a fan of the AIM Op V4 on this gun. However, you can pick out whatever optic works best for you. For a rear grip, you need the Stip 40 rear grip. And underbarrel, you need the Cronin WL55 underbarrel grip. It's one of the top guns I see streamers and YouTubers using at the current moment, and on top of that, Nick Merckx likes it so much, it's going to be part of his official bundle that releases on May 31st. It's going to be the primary weapon for his official bundle. And this gun was really not nerfed at all in the Season 3 Reloaded update. It still has the same potential that it has had all season long. So I recommend you pick it up and use that if you need lots of ammunition. However, moving on to the second tier assault rifle that a lot of people are still using, but got heavily nerfed, the ISO Hemlock. The ISO Hemlock got a little bit of a nerf with today's update, but here are the best attachments that you can use for the gun. Starting off with the muzzle. The Harbinger D20 is a muzzle I've called out for every single assault rifle and LMG so far in the video, and of course it's going to come back on the ISO Hemlock. For the barrel, you need to be using the Fielder T50 barrel. This is by far the best barrel you can use for the gun because it maximizes your range and recoil control. On the underbarrel side of things, you need to use the FTAC Ripper 56. It gives you the best maneuverability with the gun. Now this gun chews through a lot of ammunition, so I recommend having a 45-round mag. That way you can keep your shots on target and not have to reload and lose your target while you reload. And of course, whatever your preferred optic is. Your preferred optic is the best optic, and nothing will change that. And last but not least, the best sniper you can use in Warzone 2 Ranked, the FJX Imperium, otherwise known as the Classic Intervention. To start off with, you need the Ceros 29-inch barrel. That is going to maximize your range, especially considering that you're going to have to use 408 explosive ammunition. This is going to give you an automatic one-shot down if you hit anybody in the upper torso or head with this bullet. I recommend that you use both of these attachments because they help benefit one another. But moving on, you need to have the FTAC Reaper muzzle, the BLK LZR 7mW laser for a little bit faster aim down sights, and last but not least, the FJX Blast Bolt. This is going to maximize your sniping potential in Warzone 2 Ranked, but be warned, it's going to give you away because it takes a lot of time to aim down sights, so make sure your shots count and make sure you understand the bullet drop with the 408 explosive because you have significantly more bullet drop with the 408 explosive rounds than you would with normal rounds. However, in Warzone 2 Ranked, no kit is complete without the proper lethal grenades. And there's really only 3 lethal grenades that you should be using in Warzone 2. If you're a player who likes to rush, you need to be using either the Shuriken or the throwing knife. I highly recommend the Shuriken because it has longer range and the same lethality as the throwing knife, and you can stack up to 4 of them, whereas with the throwing knife you can only stack up to 2 of them. So it gives a lot more effectiveness and a lot more deadliness at range. And if you haven't unlocked the Shuriken yet, don't worry, use throwing knives. They're still going to be the same lethality if you already downed an enemy. The other lethal I recommend you use is great for pushing enemies out of a building or out of a space that they're camping hard. Wall charges. Wall charges are great because it'll throw an explosive into the other side of a room and force the enemy to move, or they'll get down by the wall charge or heavily damaged. Now stack this up with 2 or 3 wall charges from you and your teammates, it's going to force them to move out of the building and you can pick them off as they run outside. I highly recommend you use this with the weapons I talked about earlier and figure out what your best loadout for Warzone 2 Ranked is. And what I'm about to show you right now is the best landing spots for Warzone 2 Ranked. This guide right here is going to show you the best spots to go. First off, if it's green, it means it's likely that's going to be a good spot to land. In Warzone 2 Ranked, you want to last longer in the game, so you don't want to land in a highly contested area. You want to land somewhere where you can get equipped, get a loadout, and then push in from there. So all these green areas are great places to get looted up and loaded up, and you'll probably encounter at least one other team there and risk minimal damage to yourself. However, these yellow zones are for y'all who are feeling a little bit more frisky. If you want to get into the firefight and fight a lot more people right off the bat, the yellow zones are better for you. However, you should really be a pretty good player to land in one of these areas. And of course, as you can see right here, there's the red zones. Just don't do it. It's not worth it. There's going to be a lot of teams dropping there, and the teams that are dropping there are probably going to be very, very good. And 9 times out of 10, you'll probably lose a firefight to one of these really good teams. So I highly recommend that you land in the green areas first, but if you can avoid it, land in one of these yellow areas because it'll be a little bit better and it'll be a little bit more action-packed. The good part about all these green areas is they're all really close to some of these yellow and red areas. So if you do get a really good kit right off the bat, you can quickly move into one of these areas with a bunch of other teams and get a bunch of kills real early in the game before they have time to loot up and get themselves going. And moving on, there's a couple strategies that you need to be using in Warzone 2 to get ranked higher. And these are something that you need to do, otherwise you might as well not play Warzone 2 ranked at all because you won't progress any further than your skill level. The very first strategy is to get teammates who you work well with. If you are terrible at long-range engagements, find a teammate who is great at long-range engagements. That way you can make up for the close range and he can make up for the long range. Find teammates who are going to help make up for whatever your negatives or your areas that you can't handle are. And once you have a good team, that'll move you into the second strategy. In Warzone 2 Ranked, the best strategy for getting into fights is this. You either commit to the fight fully or you don't commit at all. The way that the strategy works is like this. If you are 100% sure that you can win in a fight against an enemy squad and you're not going to lose anybody in doing so, then take the fight and commit to it. However, if you're sure that you can only get 1 or 2 of them and you can't confirm that you're going to win the fight, don't do it. It's better to save up for the fights you know you can win than try to win fights that you know you're going to lose. Commit or don't commit, and don't try to do any of this middle ground where you pick off 1 or 2 of their guys, because chances are they're going to push you afterwards and you're not going to be prepared for them to push you with only 2 players. However, if you are going to engage a team, then you need to do like Obi-Wan always says, and take the high ground. If you have the high ground, statistically speaking, you are less likely to get shot. When you're on the high ground, you show less of your body if you peek over just enough to see the enemy. They can only usually see your chest upwards, whereas you can see their entire body. It will allow you to get a lot of shots off that will damage the enemy heavily, and more than likely, you'll down them or fully eliminate them if you do it this way. The high ground is the key in any engagements you get into in Warzone 2 Ranked, and if you can't get the high ground, get to cover. But you can't do any of these strategies without this thought in your head. You either push together or die alone. The best way to push is to have your teammates push in with you all at the same time or push into the building at the same time from different angles. If you can overwhelm the enemy with a higher rate of fire, higher damage, or from different directions and they can't control what's going on, then you will win the firefight. But you have to push together. If you push an enemy team by yourself, you are almost certain to get killed even if you pick off 1 or 2 of them. If you push as a team, you will win every fight. Push together or die alone. And you have to play to your strengths. If your team is really good at mid-range engagements or rushing an enemy, then do that. Don't try to get in sniper fights just because you like sniping. If you're better at something, do that thing. Do that thing that will make you win. That's the entire goal of Warzone 2 Ranked, is to win and try to get as many eliminations as possible. And the very last tip that I can give you for Warzone 2 is start slow and speed up. The higher you make it in the ranks, the more your damage, assist, and team kills will count towards your SR rating, along with the fact that you also get higher SR for just simply winning and getting higher placement. Start slow, don't try to get into engagements right off the bat, but as the game gets closer and closer to the end, try to fight more and more people. Try to win more and more engagements, because at that point you'll have already made a bunch of SR to move you forward and kind of leapfrog you into the next rank. And if you don't know everything that changed into Warzone Season 3, then I recommend checking out this video I made right here. And until next time, I am IceBurgz, your Call of Duty informant. Stay frosty.